The woman she kicked in the market was silent, but silence can scream louder than words. She didn't beg, she didn't curse. She just stared, with eyes full of something deeper than pain, disappointment. What she didn't know was, that frail old woman wasn't just another beggar. She was her billionaire boss's mother, and by the time she found out the truth, everything she loved, her job, her future, and her dignity was already gone. It was a hot afternoon. The city's central market buzzed with life, shouting vendors, honking taxis, and the sizzle of street food on grills. Nora stormed through the crowd in high heels, holding her designer handbag close. Oh, she was in a rush, late for her appointment and irritated by the chaos. She wasn't the kind of woman you'd expect in a place like this. She liked shiny offices, clean streets, and luxury. But today, she had to stop at the market for a delivery pickup. And then she saw her, an old woman, sitting quietly near the fruit stand. Dirty, dressed in rags, her hand extended with a rusted tin cup. The beggar didn't say a word. Her face was sunken, lips dry. She looked at Nora, not with desperation, but calmness, as though she'd already accepted her fate. Nora's eyes narrowed. "Seriously? Out of my way?" she muttered. She stepped forward. The old woman's position unintentionally blocked Nora's path. And just like that, snap, Nora's temper flared. "Move," she shouted. The woman didn't flinch. She didn't speak, just looked at her. So Nora did the unthinkable. She kicked the tin cup, scattering a few coins across the pavement. Then, with everyone watching, she kicked the woman's foot, not hard, but enough to send a message. Gasps filled the air. Some recorded the scene. A man nearby called out, "What's wrong with you?" But Nora just hissed, "These people have no self-respect," and walked off. Back in her office at Monroe Corporation, a sleek glass skyscraper downtown, Nora acted like nothing had happened. She laughed with coworkers, filed reports, and made calls. She worked as a senior executive assistant to David Monroe, one of the richest men in the city, young, powerful, and respected. Nora had ambitions. She didn't just want to be an assistant. She wanted to belong in David's world, maybe even at his side. She fixed her lipstick in the mirror and practiced a polite smile, knowing he'd walk in soon. And he did. "Morning, sir," she greeted, flashing her smile. David nodded, but didn't look at her long. His eyes were distant. His mood was unreadable. He hadn't seen what she did, or so she thought. That night, David stepped out of his car in the same market Nora had visited. His driver stood silently behind him. David walked slowly toward the shadows near the fruit stall, where the old woman sat, alone and still. He knelt beside her. "Mom," her eyes flickered, confused. "David," she whispered, her voice raspy, but the moment passed. Her mind faded again. She looked down. David swallowed hard. He took off his coat and placed it over her shoulders. David Monroe had built his empire from nothing. But very few knew that 10 years ago, he and his mother were homeless. After his father's death and the loss of their home, they lived on the streets. She begged for food while he studied by street lamps. She sacrificed everything for him. And when he finally made it, when success found him, she was gone. Disappeared. No note, no call. Only years later did his security team find her. Sick, mentally fragile, wandering the streets. She didn't recognize him anymore. The next morning, a receptionist whispered to Nora, "Hey, did you see that video? Some woman kicked a beggar in the market. It's going viral." Nora laughed. People overreact. She opened her phone and froze. It was her face, her heels, her voice, all recorded clearly. It had millions of views. Her heart raced. She panicked. But it got worse. Later that day, she received an internal email, marked confidential, urgent, from Mr. Monroe. She was summoned to his office. David stood by the window, arms crossed. He didn't look at her. "Do you know who that woman was?" he asked quietly. Nora tried to lie. "I didn't know who she was. She was blocking. She's my mother," he said coldly. Silence. Nora felt the air leave her lungs. David turned. "Do you understand what you've done?" I didn't mean to. I didn't know." "That's exactly the problem," he cut in. "You didn't care to know." She tried to plead, apologize, blame the stress, the crowd, anything, but David had already made his decision. "You're dismissed, effective immediately." Nora's world shattered. She packed her things in silence. No one spoke to her. Her fall was fast. She became the face of cruelty. Her name was dragged on social media. Job offers vanished. No one cared for her excuses. And David, he never spoke to her again. He dedicated his time to his mother, hired therapists, moved her into his private estate. She never fully recovered. But she smiled sometimes, especially when he sat beside her. You never know who someone really is. The woman you mock could be someone's entire world. The hand you slap away could be the hand that once held someone through storms. She didn't ask for pity. She didn't scream for justice. But justice came anyway, in silence, strength.